Regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For the purpose of this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Agenda item number 2, invocation. Mayor Pro Tem Savage will deliver the invocation and the City Council will lead the pledge. Please rise.
Shall we pray? Father, we just thank you, Lord, for another day that wasn't promised, Lord, but you gave it to us anyway, Lord, and you met us with mercy and grace as we woke up on this morning. Father, we ask that you touch this council and staff, Lord. Give us the wisdom and knowledge to take care of the business of this city, the city of Paris, Texas, which we love, Lord. And Father, we ask, as always, that you bless the first responders of all types that are out there in the streets and doing the work, Lord, in this heat. And we just ask that you touch their families as they come back home, that they be a comfort to them, Lord. And Lord, on a special note, Lord, on a personal side, I just want to thank you for my granddog, Katie, Lord, the life that she had, Lord, 16 and a half years. And Lord, you chose to take her on home. And I just pray that you just wrap her in your bosom, Lord, my sweet Katie. And Lord, we just, in all things, Lord, we give you all the praise and the glory. And it's in the mighty name of Jesus that we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, indivisible. All right, we will now move on to the Citizens Forum.
Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentations to no more than 2 minutes, and remarks must be limited to matters of city business. Speakers will not be allowed to cede speaking time to others. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council members, or employees, including but not limited to claims in pending litigation, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda.
All right. Before I open up the Citizens Forum, I want to just make a note. If anyone is here for agenda items number 11, 12, or 13, if you don't mind to hold your remarks until that item does come up, or the budget public hearing also, we're going to have a special time to talk for those items here in just a moment. So with that being said, I will go ahead and open up the Citizens Forum. If anyone is wishing to come speak about anything, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
I'm Daniel Nicholson. Just name, is that it?
Your address, please.
2640 Beverly Drove, Paris, Texas. I'm just going to read a couple stories, I guess. When's the time start, right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You can see it on the side here.
Okay, so there was a forest where many animals lived. Among these were wolves. The forest critters feared the wolves and the harm that they caused, and one day a hunter came into the woods installing game trail cameras and doing away with the wolves. The animals of the woods cheered until it was their season. Suddenly, the hunter and cameras that seemed to usher in peace and safety turned into chaotic desperation. The animals ran in all directions, but due to the patterns and intel gathered by the cameras, their paths were all cut off or lay waiting with traps. All the woodland critters were eradicated, and a data center to power AI went up in its place. And to the police, there were 2 dogs who protected a home, a watchdog and a guard dog. One day, a surveillance tech salesman convinced the owner to buy a new security system. It's cheaper than the dog and more effective. The watchdog was then put out shortly after, and the guard dog thought, well, the cameras can't bite, so I'll be okay, until a year later, a dog AI robot was sold to the owner, and both dogs went from warriors to strays. So to the police, are you the mules laying the grounds for the very tractor that will replace you? Is a bird safe in a cage, or is it just imprisoned? So a lot of this stuff, I think, is just a robotic Trojan horse, like the ALPRs and Flock and all that. And that's all. I didn't bring a bunch of facts, but that's pretty much what I wanted to say. That's pretty much it. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. there anyone else?
Yes, it's Carolyn Williams. The address is 5044 Street Southwest. I'm wanting some property, property that I'm trying to purchase got a lien on it, and the person that had it, he is deceased now, and so far I'm doing the upkeep on it to keep the, from them to put more liens on it and try to avoid back taxes. And I like to purchase the property, but right now the property taxes is so high from the liens and back taxes, and I'm trying to figure out how can I go by getting this property. And so far, the city says it's not on the, what you call it, where they auction it off, and it shouldn't be because he's been deceased not even a year. So I'm trying to look into this property so I can get it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, seeing no further comments, we will go ahead and close the citizens forum. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council. With such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda, a council member may request any item to be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Council, is there anyone that would like to remove an item or discuss an item? If not, I'll go ahead and open the floor for a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 4-0. All right, we will now move into the regular agenda, starting off with item number 9, discuss and act on a resolution appointing a qualified person to fill the vacancy in the City Council District 2 and to serve as City Council member for District 2 until the next regular election in May of 2028. At our special City Council meeting on July 20th of 2026, we interviewed 3 applicants for the vacant District 2 position. And after deliberation, we approved that the appointment of Tim DeWitt to serve in that vacancy. That resolution formalizes that action. This resolution formalizes that action. Is there a motion and a second to approve of this?
I make a motion that we approve that.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 4-0. And now, agenda item number 10, we will administer the oath of office to a newly appointed City Council member for District 2. Mr. DeWitt, if you don't mind meeting Ms. Ellis right here at the front.
If you'll raise your hand and repeat after me. I, Tim DeWitt.
I, Tim DeWitt,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of office of
of office of
District 2,
District 2
City Council Member
City Council
of the City of Paris,
of the City of Paris,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state
and of this state
and the Charter
and the Charter
and ordinances of the city.
and ordinances of the city.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Then we'll go up and.
All right, Mr. DeWitt, we congratulate you and welcome to the team. We're looking forward to working with you, and thank you for your willingness to serve.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited about the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right. Well, now that Mr. DeWitt has taken the oath, prior to moving to the next three items, I just wanted to just make a note here, just a little housekeeping item. City staff has asked us that we consider the items to be moved in this order, actually, for item 13, then 12, then 11. If you guys are all okay with that, I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion.
Make the motion that we change the order to item 13, 12, and then 11.
All right, we got a motion. Do I hear a second? Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. All right, we will move on to agenda item number 13. Discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of the City of Paris for amendments to Exhibit 9B zoning ordinance, including repeal and replacement of Section 29, solar farms, to establish regulations governing utility-scale solar energy facilities, including definitions, permitted locations, specific use permit, SUP, requirements, dimensional standards, buffering and screening requirements, airport and glare protections, infrastructure standards, decommissioning requirements, financial assurance requirements, and related development and operational standards. Staff, do you have a presentation?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. This is, you're just saying, the city's existing solar farm regulations are limited and don't really provide a comprehensive framework for evaluation for any of those mentioned locations, operations, maintenance, long-term removal of utility scale facilities. The proposed amendment is intended to regulate utility scale facilities through the specific use permit rather than prohibiting solar energy development outright. This approach allows the city to evaluate each request on a site-specific basis and imposes reasonable standards where necessary. The proposed ordinance will repeal and replace our existing solar farm ordinance with a utility scale solar facility, which includes the standards that was mentioned earlier, including decommissioning, financial securities, which are two big ones that we did not previously have in our ordinance. And we'd be doing that by adopting a development standards manual, which I think you guys got these in the packets and everything, which sets out the standards and ensures that staff and the city look at every aspect of solar farms, solar utility farms, and that the city and the citizens are protected. P&Z did hear this and recommended unanimously to support it. As a fiscal impact, there's really no fiscal impact whatsoever. It's the regular review, inspection, and compliance activities are administered the same, and staff would also recommend approval of.
Thank you so much, Mr. McGee. I want to go ahead and take this moment to open up the public hearing and ask anyone that is wishing to speak about this item, either in favor or against, to please come forward and state your name, and I will go ahead and open up the public hearing. Good. Seeing no one else speaking, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, is there any discussion, any questions that we have on this item for Mr. McGee or anyone else on staff?
No, I don't have any. I think it looks great.
All right. If not, then I'll go ahead and open the floor for any motions.
I make the motion that we accept the ordinance on item 13.
All right, we got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. We will now move to agenda item number 12. Discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of the City of Paris for amendments to Exhibit 9B zoning ordinance addition of Section 32 battery energy storage systems, BESS, to establish regulations governing battery energy storage systems, including definitions, permitted locations, specific use permit, SUP, requirements, dimensional standards, buffering and screening requirements, airport and glare protection, infrastructure standards, decommissioning requirements, financial assurance requirements, and related development and operational standards. Mr. McGee?
Mayor Pro Tem, council members. This is similar, very similar to the solar farm one. However, we didn't have this in our current zoning ordinance. So this is adding Bs, which is, it's a technology that's been around for a while. We have them already in the city. Most of them would be like residential battery car chargers or battery generators for the home, but we have no regulations for them. So this again establishing the standards for battery energy storage systems. And like with other technologies and high impact uses and stuff, this protects the city by establishing those standards, setting the decommissioning and the financial assurances, and basically just organizes it. So again, there's no fiscal impact. Planning and zoning did approve it unanimously, and staff recommends approval too. And I'd be open for any questions that anyone might have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McGee. I will go ahead and open up the public forum. If anyone is wishing to speak about this item, please come forward.
Hi, Scott Hummel. In terms of ordinances or anything like that, you need to make sure that you keep the battery energy storage systems completely out of the city limits of Paris. Okay? Know the rule, know about them. They're unsafe, they're dangerous, and we don't have the proper firefighting equipment in Paris to put them out, because water doesn't put them out, in case you guys know that. Okay, they're extremely dangerous. They're not good. The technology's not there. They're not the same as the little lithium battery in someone's house or anything like that. Don't even go down that road. Okay, these battery energy storage systems have to be maintained at no less than 170 degrees. Last I checked, we were in Texas. If their air conditioning system fails, you have a major problem on your hand. Okay, the toxic gases that come off of these units in a fire, okay, there's a few. The one dangerous one is hydrocyanide. Do you hear what I just said? Hydrocyanide, it kills you. It kills me. It kills everything around it. Okay? This battery energy storage systems are not something to be played around with. The county, they're putting one in, okay, and it's already failed the 2 state requirement fire inspection. Both of them. They failed 2 times already. Okay? The technology is not there. Save the city of Paris, let the county keep ruining their outside grounds. But you don't need these things in the city of Paris, so when you write an ordinance up, make it so difficult that it'd be literally impossible for somebody to come in with these battery energy storage systems. And if you want to do solar in the city, do it in the Walmart parking lot. Keep it off the ground. Keep it off of our farmlands. Keep it off of the dirt that's going to poison and ruin. But go ahead and force people to go ahead and put it on their roofs of their industrial buildings and put it in the parking lots as far as that goes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public forum on that. Council, any discussion?
No.
If not, we'll go ahead and entertain any motions that are out there.
Make a motion that we approve the ordinance of item 12.
All right, we got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. All right, we will now go into agenda item number 11. All right. Discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of the City of Paris for amendments to Exhibit 9B zoning ordinance, addition of Section 31, data center, to establish regulation governing data center facilities, including definitions, permitted locations, specific use permit requirements, SUP, dimensional standards, buffering and screening requirements, airport and glare protection, infrastructure standards, decommissioning requirements, financial assurance requirements, and related development and operational standards. Mr. McGee, you have the floor.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, this again is similar to the other 2 that we just talked about. This is, we do not have any regulations currently in our ordinance on data centers. So this is establishing those guidelines as protections for the city. It also addresses decommissioning financial assurances, and something that all three of them that I hadn't mentioned before also addresses returning the sites to habitable, leaving it better than what it came if they decommission, or repurposing the property. All this is what we've tried to do in all these standards, is look at all the risk, mitigate the risk, and protect the citizens. So, same thing with this one, is a planning and zoning unanimously recommended it, and staff also recommends it. And again, I'd be willing to answer any questions anyone might have.
Thank you so much, Mr. McGee. I'll go ahead and open up the public forum. If anyone is wishing to speak about this item, please come forward.
Hi, it's me again. Okay, data centers. Have you done any studies on vibroacoustic disorder?
Yes.
Okay, what have you found?
It depends on the size of the data center.
And, okay, so you've looked into it a little bit. It's
Mr. Hummel, I'm
yes.
sorry.
Okay,
It's
no,
just- no, it's
he said
okay.
I could ask him questions, yes?
Well, so we're going to reserve that because we
Okay.
don't want to have a Q&A just on the public forum. Please
Okay,
just,
sure,
just
no
state
problem.
your
Okay,
record.
as far as the data centers are concerned, let's stop calling them data centers. Let's call them surveillance centers, exactly what they are. Right now, everyone hears that, we got to have more data centers than China. Okay, China has 435 data centers. The United States has 5,648. Texas already has 335 working data centers. Okay, don't believe the hype that these new air-conditioned style, non-water using data centers don't use water. They only use water for the toilets and landscaping. That's baloney, because the natural gas plant that they have to use to make the extra energy to power these things is going to use the water in that respect. Okay, so they do use billions of gallons of water. They also put off a very dangerous low harmonic hum that produces and causes vibroacoustic disorder. Okay, I've done work and research on wind farms and data centers in working with the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, an area in Boston, Amarillo, so on and so forth. Everyone thought that the city of Seattle, Washington was the #1 area in this country for suicides. Okay, Amarillo, Texas has stepped up to the plate. Why? Because of the wind farms, and they do have some data center issues going on, but the wind farms cause the same thing that data centers do. It's called vibroacoustic disorder, and it does affect mammals and it affects human beings considerably. Okay, these data centers are right now, the technology is not there. Okay, and to bring them into the city of Paris so that we can satisfy a few Paris citizens with the sale of their land and everything like that is not worth putting the city of Paris at risk. And I guarantee this is, I know a lot of people, as soon as these data centers, if they actually do start coming into Paris, into Lamar County, and more battery energy storage systems, they do get that wind farm they're talking about with 762-foot wind towers coming in. There's going to be a lot of people selling their properties because people don't want to live around that. And good luck for the Paris Economic Development Corporation inviting businesses to come in to Paris when these things happen. You have a golden opportunity to read the public. The public doesn't want data. They don't want these battery energy storage systems, and we're done with solar. City of Paris right now has the ability to do the right thing and write your ordinances up saying basically, you know what, stay out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item? All right. Seeing none, I will go ahead and close the public forum. Council, any questions, any discussion on this item? If not, I'll go ahead. I have one comment. I will say, Mr. McGee, you guys have spent a lot of time on these items. It took a lot of work doing research, figuring out the parameters based off of other communities and kind of what they're putting forward, along with the Unified Development Code, or previously known as the PDC. I really appreciate, and I think our entire council appreciates the fact that you guys have really put a lot of work into this. So, Mr. Alma-Mensa, Mr. McGee, all of you, Trinity, everyone that's put all their time and effort into this, along with city staff. I know from a legal aspect, it's a lot. Rose, it's a lot, and so I really appreciate that. Just want to say that helps us to leverage our building department to a whole nother level. And I'm excited for our community to be able to see that. I know this is just a small component, but the full scope of everything you guys have put forth is pretty exciting. So thank you for that. If there's no further discussion, I'll go ahead and entertain anyone that has a motion.
I'll make a motion on item number 11 as written.
All right, we got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Nay. Motion carries 4-1. All right, we will now move to agenda item number 14. Receive a presentation on the proposed 2026-2027 city budget. Ms. Myra.
Good evening, council, mayor and council. I'm Myra Rogers. I'm Assistant Finance Director. I'm going to provide an overview of the proposed budget for 2026-27. So the first thing is this budget was developed to reflect the city's mission and financial policy with a forward-looking approach based on the latest approved strategic plan with the operating principles of communication, coordination, collaboration across the entire organization and the shareholders. As you all know, after months of workshops and analysis and engagement with department directors and community partners, the Paris City Council adopted a new strategic plan on December 8th, 2025 that includes 5 strategic outcomes, and those are listed here: to serve citizens with professionalism and integrity, promote a safe community for all citizens, promote a prosperous community, provide effective services, and provide an excellent quality of life. And then there was, from that, priority phasing in order to build the foundation. So this was prepared for the next 5 years and beyond. Phase 1 is planned for the first 2 years, and it began in fiscal year 2026, and it's being carried forward into 2027 proposed budget, with a major focus on the 311 platform launch, compensation study implementation, and the Parks Master Plan. During the strategic plan, there were major challenges that came out, and these are some of those in which the strategic plan was developed to help address these major challenges and prepare the city for the future. And some of those major challenges are adequate compensation to attract and retain essential personnel for critical operations, limited revenue sources, and then aging infrastructure and capital needs. Oops. So the proposed budget is available for review on the City of Paris website. It's on the home page as well. It's also under the budget page. If you go to home and then governments and then budget, you'll be able to find. It was published out there on the website on Tuesday, July 21st. We had to have it out there on the 24th. So we met our deadline there. The budget out there that's available for all to review, it has 4 major types of funds that are budgeted. We have our operating funds, which are the general fund, water and sewer fund, and the airport fund, and then we have some special funds. These are limited with legal restrictions, so they're kept separate in separate funds. Now we'll just dive into a little bit of each of the types of funds. So the general fund, which is one of our larger operating funds, the overall revenue budget increase is 15% or $5.5 million, with the majority of the increase coming from property tax. And this is the proposed budget. The general fund revenue source includes property tax, sales tax, EMS revenue, and other revenue. Property tax and sales tax makes up about 59% of the budget. Property tax makes up 32% of the budget, and we're going to discuss that a little further in next 2 slides. And then sales tax makes up 27% of the budget. It can be volatile, so we have a modest increase of about 2% estimated for proposed 2027. EMS revenue makes up about 14%, and it's estimated to increase as long as the city can maintain the staff for EMS service and be able to provide transfer services. And the other revenue makes up about 26% of the revenue and is projecting to basically remain flat overall. And then the overall expenditure budget increases 6% or $2.5 million. And it includes 9 new positions, compensation, study, implementation, as well as capital. Oh, this does, okay. The property tax rate, we'll just go through this, since this is one of the main, property tax is one of the most stable revenue resources available and to help fund critical needs. I know this looks a little off, but these are the main things. When you have property tax, it has 2 components. It has the maintenance and operations as well as the debt rate. And then those combined makes the total tax rate. So here's a chart to review the total taxable value along with the M&O and debt rates over the last several years. The fiscal year 26-27, that is based on the preliminary roll. We do have the certified roll, and then we're working on that tax rate calculation, and so we'll have that out in an updated proposed budget soon, but right now it's based on preliminary roll. As you can see, as the total taxable value increases over the years, your M&O tax rate typically goes down, and that's just set up that way so that Senate Bill 2 that was enacted in 2019, it limits the city's ability to increase its M&O tax rate, and so the proposed tax rate that we're proposing for 2027 would require an election that for voter approval. And again, it's based on currently the preliminary roll, but we should have certified soon. We should have tax rate based on certified soon. Okay. So property tax revenue impact, based on a 2026 average homestead taxable value of $171,256. We have this broken down to show the current rate, proposed rate, and then what that increase would look like. So the estimated, so you see we have for the increase, you see that it would be a 20-cent increase and total, and then that would equate to about $343 annually increase, $29 monthly, and 94 cents daily. I know it's a little hard to see here, but the return on the investment includes 24/7 911 emergency services, fire and police protection, street maintenance and repairs, traffic and lighting, code enforcement, library facility and services, parks, recreation, and events, as well as capital improvements and more. We just have a few more. Water sewer fund. The water and sewer fund operations and capital improvements are funded by the fees collected for providing water and sewer services. Overall proposed revenue increase is 2% or $448,000, primarily due to water rate increases effective July 1 of 2026 and sewer rates effective April 1, 2026. Overall proposed expense budget increase is 4% or $820,000. It's primarily related to the proposed pay plan changes to retain and attract essential personnel for critical operations of providing water and sewer services for the city. And then there's also 5 positions that are included, as well as some capital. The airport fund, the overall increase is 5% or $58,000. Hangar rentals and ground leases are budgeted based on the current lease agreements, and we remain at 100% occupancy. And then fuel sales are based on a price margin for Jet A and AV gas low lead. And then overall expenditure increases is 5% or $54,000. Of course, the main expense there is aviation fuel is the main operating expense there, followed by personnel and then capital. Some capital expenditures include the ramp grant expenses that are reimbursed 90% by TxDOT. And then we have some building improvements as well as an airport tug that we could also end up, that will help with the new hangars that are being built. And once they're in operation, then we could charge fees for the use of the airport tug. Then we have our special funds that I mentioned earlier. These are typically limited with legal restrictions, so they're kept in separate funds from the operating funds. And then this is just our budget calendar. We started in March, and with the anticipation that we will be finished by August 24th. But we've had lots of communication, coordination, and collaboration across the entire organization and stakeholders in order to prepare and develop this year's budget. So we've been very busy since March. And then there's some critical dates coming up, and I just want to go over those. Like tonight, we have this budget presentation. We've got the courtesy public hearing for the proposed budget. This one is not required by state law, but it is, we added it just because we are proposing a tax rate that would cause an election. We also have tonight is a call for the state required public hearing that will be on August 10th. And then on August 10th, we will have the state law required public hearing on the budget. That'll give citizens another chance to review the budget as well as make comments regarding the budget. And then we will need to propose the tax rate for 2027 fiscal year, as well as call a public hearing on the proposed tax rate on August 10th, as well as order a tax election on August 10th. And then August 24th is where we will have the required public hearing on the proposed tax rate. That is where we'll also need to adopt the budget, ratify the property tax revenue increase, and then also adopt the tax rate and levy. So there's a lot going on the next few council meetings. But I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Not.
I'll ask the council, is there a breakdown of, like,
So, we can't, Mr. Hummel, I apologize. We can certainly, after the meeting, we can certainly discuss more, but just at the time of this, we're going to leave it at this for right now. I will say, if anyone does have questions, please reach out to our city offices or even email us. We'd love to be able to direct those questions and make sure we get answers for that. But council, any questions you have for Ms. Rogers at the moment? If not, we'll go ahead and continue on to the next item. There's no action to be taken on this particular item, but going on to agenda item number 15, we're going to go ahead and conduct a courtesy public hearing on the proposed 26-27 city budget. Ms. Rogers, if you will.
Yeah, I'll just give you just a quick, so this is a courtesy public hearing. It's not required by state law, but it's held to allow citizens an additional opportunity to comment on the proposed budget. Just a reminder that the proposed budget is out on the website. It is on the main page. It's also on the budget page. If you go to the home page, and then you go to governments and then budget, you'll be able to find, and it's about 400 pages long. There is detail. It starts high level, kind of what I went over tonight, and then it takes you all the way to the detail. So, but yeah, so the next council meeting will be the required one.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. I want to go ahead and open up the floor, the public hearing, and ask anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. There's no action to be taken on this item. This was just a courtesy open public forum, but we will continue this on to another item into the next meeting. So moving on to agenda item number 16, discuss and act on a resolution of the City Council of the City of Paris, Texas, calling a public hearing for August 10th, 2026 on the city manager's proposed budget for fiscal year 26-27, making our findings and provisions related to the subject and providing an effective date. Staff, do you have a presentation?
Okay, it's me again, Myra Rogers, Assistant Finance Director. So this is, you, as part of the Texas state law, you have to call the public hearing. You have to call the public hearing for the state required one. So that's all you're doing tonight. You're just calling that so that we can hold that statutory public hearing at the August 10th meeting.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Council, is there any discussion, any questions we have for Ms. Rogers or anyone else? If not, I'll go ahead and open the floor for anyone that has a motion.
I make a motion calling for a public hearing for August 10th, 2026 on the city manager's proposed budget for fiscal year 26-27.
We've got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 17, discuss and act on a resolution awarding the bid for municipal government audit services for the fiscal year ending in September 30th of 26, 27, and 28. Mr. Marriott.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. Back in May, we received notice from McClanahan and Holmes that they would no longer be able to do our audit. The reasoning was that their staffing, in conjunction with tax season and our audit, it just wasn't working for them. So we solicited proposals from CPA firms. I contacted at least 8 firms in the Dallas area, asking them to submit proposals. We received 4 proposals. This will appoint an auditor for 2026 to 28. We can add 2 more years, but it would come back for city council for approval before we did that. Like I said, we received 4 proposals. Those 4 proposals were evaluated based on several criteria that are laid out in the memo in the packet. Based upon our evaluation, we are recommending that the city select Forvis Mazars. They're a large firm located in the Dallas area. They do the city of Mesquite and several other cities, so we think they would be well suited to provide our audit services. I will note that there were no responses from local firms, but based upon discussions with McClanahan, we really weren't expecting any local firms to respond. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Council, any discussion? I'll state, I appreciate that note at the end because we always like to support whatever we can locally. We want to do whatever we can to support our neighbors. And so
Yes.
thank you for especially looking into that note.
Okay.
If there's no further discussion or any questions, I'd like to go ahead and open the floor for anyone that has a motion.
Make the motion that we pass item 17.
Okay, we got a motion. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank
you,
you.
sir. All right, agenda item number 18, discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Earl Bethay and Terry Trapp on behalf of Wayne Brown for a specific use permit, SUP, for a tattoo shop in the General Retail District, GR, on LCAD 39586, City of Paris, Block 315, Lot 1-C, 3701 Lamar Avenue. Mr. Almo Mensa.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. So this is a regular type of zoning application, not necessarily a zoning map change, but it is an application for a specific use permit. The applicant wants to put a tattoo shop at that location, and so what is required is that it depends on the zoning district that determines whether it's allowed or not. At this point, the location is zoned General Retail District, and that is the type that will only allow us an SUP. And so it went before the Planning Commission on July 9th, and they recommended approval to this application. And so that is what is before you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I will go ahead and open up the public hearing for anyone that's wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none, no one speaking on this item, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and I'm going to ask council, is there any discussion on this item, any questions we have for Mr. Almomensa or anyone else? If not, I'll go ahead and open the floor for anyone that has a motion on this item.
Make the motion that we pass item 18 as written.
We got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much, sir.
And I would also like to mention that there was a typo on the regulations specifics, so we will correct that with city clerk and rectify that omission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Agenda item number 19, discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance considering the petition of John and Susanna Likens for a specific use permit SUP for cottage industry in a commercial district C on LCAD 16081, City of Paris, Block 127, PT of Lot 3, 120, Southwest 8th Street. Mr. Almomensa?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This is another SUP type, a little bit different because we just proposed this cottage industry concept that will allow certain types of small light industrial type uses to go into certain areas. We looked at that critically, including consulting with consultants from Dallas area, and we came up with this cottage industry type uses. The purpose is to allow certain types of uses that are not designed for certain areas specifically to go into certain areas, especially when it's commercial, that will not, under normal circumstances, be allowed. We will look at it case-by-case basis. And so this is where an applicant has come in to put in a pharmaceutical packaging facility in that area. It went before the Planning and Zoning Commission July 9th. They looked at it critically and digressed on it and recommended approval to this. We have not had any applications from neighboring properties who are against or for it. And so what is before you today is to staff recommending approval of this application. And there are the following conditions that are before this is to show that the applicant will follow all the regulations that fall under the general retail condition and also for commercial uses that has to follow. The applicant, the specific use permit shall also follow the regulations of the occupant on the 5th anniversary of the date of this application if it is approved, and whichever one that comes first. And the business operations shall also follow the regulations and codes that will come under the certificate of occupancy issued by the building department. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will go ahead and open up the public hearing for anyone that would like to speak for or against this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, any discussion on this item? Any questions that we have for Mr. Almomensa or anyone else?
No.
Okay, if not, I'll go ahead and open up the floor for anyone that would like to make a motion.
Make a motion that we accept item number 19 on the regular agenda.
Okay, we got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 20, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of the City of Paris for amendments to Exhibit 9B zoning ordinance, including Section 8-500, home occupations and related definitions in use regulations to modernize standards for home-based businesses, remote work, registration, residential compatibility, prohibited activities, and enforcement. Mr. McGee.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. The city's current home occupation regulations were originally developed when home-based business were primarily limited to small offices and cottage industry. Since that time, advances in technology with remote work, e-commerce, service-based business significantly changed the way residents conduct their business. Additionally, the Texas legislature has adopted statutes governing municipal regulations of home-based businesses that limit the type of restrictions that we may impose on them. The proposed amendment modernizes the city regulations by shifting from a business-type approach to an impact-based approach that focuses on protecting neighborhood characters while allowing compatible home-based businesses to operate within residential zoning districts. The proposed regulations will continue to authorize enforcement for nuisance conditions, excessive traffic, outdoor storage, hazardous activities, and other operational impacts that are incompatible with residential uses. The proposed ordinance is not anticipated to have any significant fiscal impact. Everything will be enforced and regulated through activities we already have. Planning and Zoning Commission has unanimously voted to approve, and staff recommends approval also.
Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. For anyone wishing to speak about this item, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, any discussion on this item? If anyone has anything compelling, please feel free to go ahead and ask the question.
No.
Okay. If not, go ahead and open up the floor to hear if anyone has any motion.
I make a motion to approve the amendments to Exhibit 9B.
All right, we got a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much. Agenda item number 21, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance considering the petition of the City of Paris for amendments to Exhibit 9B zoning ordinance, including Section 15, nonconforming uses and structures and related provisions to allow limited reinvestment, modernization, reconstruction, or improvement of certain legal nonconforming single-family residential uses under defined conditions. Mr. McGee.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. With this one, it's over time, there's been a lot of single-family homes and residents within the city that's become legal non-conforming because of zoning changes or amendments and stuff like that was outside of their control. And many of these homes remain owner-occupied and then serve as stable residence for decades. Okay, under the current ordinances, opportunities to improve, modernize, or even modestly expand those homes are significantly limited. While the existing regulations preserve the integrity of our zoning ordinance, they may also discourage reinvestment in otherwise viable residential properties. In many instances, these properties are unlikely to redevelop for their underlying commercial zoning designations in any time in the near foreseeable future. The proposed amendment recognizes these existing conditions by allowing reasonable residential improvements while maintaining the city's long-term land use goals and preventing expansion of non-conforming use. This is kind of a companion ordinance to one that we recently passed on the platting. So this would allow, again, this is for single-family, I want to stress that point, it's for single-family owner-occupied legal non-conforming homes only. That would allow them to, currently you can't do any additions or renovations or anything if you're legal non-conforming because it would be classified as extending a non-conformancy. So this allows an exemption to owner-occupied residential homes so they could improve their homes, make modest additions to them up to like 35% without triggering that legal non-conforming and disallowing it. So it would be taking care of some of the blight issues that we see. Again, there's no fiscal impact to this. It would all be handled through administration enforcement will be accomplished using existing departmental resources. Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously, and staff recommends that you approve the recommendations.
Good. I'll go ahead and open up the public forum for anyone that's wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, any questions on this item? Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and open up the floor for anyone that may want to make a motion.
Make a motion to approve amendments to Exhibit 9B zoning ordinance of item 21.
Okay. We got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. All right, agenda item number 22, discuss and act on an amendment to the ground lease agreement between the city, LT Wings LLC, and an assignment of a ground lease at Coxfield Airport Hangar Number 3 from LT Wings LLC to HT Aero LLC. I know that this item, we're still waiting on some documentation, and so it's already been tabled since the last meeting. We're gonna go ahead and continue that, and we don't actually need to remove this off the agenda, so we're going to go ahead and let it forward on to the next meeting. Agenda item number 23, discuss and act on a resolution approving a development agreement with Lone Star Plan Developments LLC relating to the City of Paris Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Number 2, Forest Brook Boulevard. Now, I will say this item was tabled, so I will have to go ahead and entertain the floor to have a motion to remove this item off the table.
Make the motion, we remove item 23 off the table.
Okay, we got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Staff.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. Those of you who are on the council in December will remember that you created the tax increment refinancing zone number 2 for the purposes of helping to finance Forest Brook Boulevard, which is in the area of the Forest Brook housing development that's going up in southeast Paris. We have been negotiating an agreement with the developer for the construction of that road since that time, and it's actually taken us quite a bit of time, and those weren't just fallow months that we weren't doing anything. We were actively negotiating an agreement. You have one in front of you tonight that does several things. First of all, for those of you who are new and anyone in the audience who doesn't understand or doesn't know what a TERS and how that operates, there was the basic value of the property was locked in as of January 1st, 2025, and that is the base value. So any increase in the value, because that was pretty much just dirt then, so any increase in the value is what's called the increment. So the base value, whatever it was worth as of January 1st, 2025, the taxes on that, nothing changes on that. But 50% under the TERS of the taxes on the increment value will go into the TERS to help fund this construction over, and the term of the TERS is 30 years. So there are several important items that I would want to bring to your attention about this particular agreement. It provides that the street thoroughfare will be constructed in 2 segments, the eastern segment and the western segment. The TERS revenues will be divided accordingly for the eastern segment and the western segment. The portion of the property that the eastern segment runs through, that's the eastern segment revenue. Likewise with the western segment. The developer will secure the financing privately, and the TERS revenues will be forwarded to the developer according to the terms of the agreement for him to defray the cost of that financing. He will be borrowing against the projected TERS revenues. He has 12 months after the effective date of this agreement to obtain that financing. If he's not able to, he's able to walk away from the agreement and we're able to dissolve the TERS. If there's anything in the TERS at that time, it goes to the city for whatever we need to do to go in the general fund. He will only be entitled to receive Eastern segment revenues once he's completed the Eastern segment. So if the Eastern segment gets part of the way built for some reason, I don't anticipate that happening because he's not going to start if he doesn't get the financing for the whole thing. But if something happened, no TERS revenues goes to him. And we're not going to have any direct relationship with the lender. And that's his relationship. He has the right to relinquish his rights to the Western segment within 36 months after the Eastern segment is complete. In that event, the TERS will continue to pay the developer Eastern segment revenues because if the Eastern segment would be complete at that point. But the Western segment revenues would be available to the city to either construct the Western segment if we were in a position to do so, or to use for other projects within the TERS zone. The obligations of the TERS in the city are contingent upon participation of Lamar County in the TERS, which would be accomplished through interlocal agreement. Basically, the finances of this are such that this is not probably going to come together if the county doesn't participate because of just the numbers. The city's numbers by themselves are not sufficient for him to be able to secure financing for that. He has been in contact with the county. This is Nathan Spalding. He's here today for Lone Star Plan Developments, and he's been in contact with the county, and so far they're enthusiastic about participating. So we're enthusiastic about their enthusiasm. The reason the numbers are such, there are projected construction cost of this thoroughfare at this point of $18 million. We did some numbers based on what it would cost to finance that if we were using city financing, which is more favorable than a private developer could get. And the projection for that is $42 million. So he's not going to be able to do it for $42 million. We've agreed in the document that TERS revenues paid to the developer is capped at $50 million. That's probably around close what it would take him to get it financed and constructed. So if for some reason our projections, we've had projections done by consultants, and if our projections are way low and it just explodes and we're getting all this sales tax and we're getting all this property tax and it finances that faster than what we thought, and the overall TERS revenue is going to be more than $50 million, we'll never be obligated to pay more than $50 million. If he completes the Eastern segment but opts out of constructing the Western segment, he'll provide us with engineering plans for that segment, Western segment, plus dedicate right-of-way, the necessary right-of-way for us to do the Western segment if we're in a position to do so, through property he owns, and he will not sell or convey that property during the term of the agreement. And that's about it. Like I say, this has been the culmination of a protracted negotiation with the developer. We've had the assistance of our consultants. He has had the assistance of his consultants, and we think this is a fair deal, and we'd recommend that you approve that tonight.
Ms. Harris, just for clarification purposes, do we need to have a public forum on this item?
No.
Okay. Council, any discussion before we take a vote on this item? Okay, if not, then I'll go ahead and open the floor for anyone that has a motion.
Hey, oh, you can't talk.
Yes. Sorry, sir, we don't have a public forum on this item, but if you wait just a moment, we'll have a public forum on the next item.
So I make the motion that we pass a resolution approving the development agreement with Lone Star Plan Developments LLC.
You hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. All right, motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 24, discuss and act on an ordinance approving the 2026 annual service plan update in 2026 assessment role for the Forest Brook Public Improvement District Number 1 in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code. Ms. Harris.
Yes, sir. This is kind of a companion item, but not really, only insofar as it also deals with the Forest Brook development. In 2024, I'm sorry, in 2025, no, 2024, I'm looking at my wrong memo. I'm sorry. The city council created a public improvement district, and the purpose of the public improvement district is so that the city can, or the PID can issue bonds that help defray the cost for the developer of the basic infrastructure of the development. And last year, prior to issuing bonds in accordance with the statute, you approved a service plan that had lots of elements. It talked about what the assessments are going to be in various financial items related to the PID. The statute provides that you review that yearly. Our consultants have provided what's before you tonight, which is updated 2026 service plan. There are no material changes. The only difference that I could see is there was a slight increase in the assessment from $2,483 to, I think, 26 something. It was 25 something. It was only maybe $50, $60, and that's probably related to the fact of at the time this was done, we had the benefit of the real numbers and knowing what the bonds were going to cost and all that. So it's not really a material difference. We do not need to have a public hearing on this. It's just a matter of approving the ordinance. Once the ordinance is approved, should you approve it, we will file this in the real property records of Lamar County as required by statute.
Thank you so much. For clarification, Mr. Haynes, I apologize. I know that there's not a public forum on this item, but I'm happy to hear you out at the end of the meeting if that's okay, and we'll have some dialogue afterwards if that's all right with you. We will go ahead and, council, any discussion on this item, any questions that we have for Ms. Harris or anyone else on staff? If not, I'll go ahead and open up the floor for anyone that would like to present a motion.
I make a motion approving the 2026 annual service plan update of item 24.
We've got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 25, consider and approve future events for the city council and or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Council, does anyone have anything that they would like to present? Okay. Seeing none, then we'll go ahead and move to agenda item number 26, adjournment. All right, we got a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll go ahead and create the motion 5-0. Thank you.